Hey, welcome to a last minute live stream. And we'll be just really going pretty short tonight. But this is a topic that I wanted to address just because the other day I did a stream in the evening and I was going to be editing some vocals and I couldn't because all of the take folders had essentially wiped out the flex pitch information, or at least made it so I couldn't see it. And so I've definitely spent a lot of time sorting through the rubble a little bit. I ended up re-recording the vocals, and I think that they're definitely in a place that I like them better. I'll play a little bit of that too for anyone who had been watching that stream, which was, late night streams are a little bit smaller for Logic, but that's totally fine at the same time. Let me play just a little bit of this, and you can see the flex pitch information down here. What I see, do you see what I see? Here you are, right where you belong, right where I belong, at the end. So all of the information is there. And the original stream, I was it caught me off guard that it wasn't there. And then I had the flex pitch show as just one continuous series of boxes on the same note, and I couldn't change anything. And I thought it was a varispeed option from recording with varispeed turned on, but that wasn't the issue. In fact, I've been able to record a bunch of things with varispeed turned on this week, and it was fine. I did just a scratch here. So I have this take folder that I recorded. And if I come into it, you'll see right now, and this is pretty common to have nothing with the take folder engaged. But what I did was, and let me duplicate this playlist. When you finish doing your take editing, essentially, there we go. You go through, you make your edits however you want your final take to be. Then you come up here and you say merge and flatten or flatten. And there's all these other options: exporting to new track, unpack to independent tracks. There's quite a few options. I've typically used flatten and merge in the past. And when I had done that, let's turn on flex pitch. You're going to hopefully see this is perfect. I'm glad it's actually bugging in the correct way right now. You'll see flex pitch turned on, that there's no data here. There's nothing to move around. This is the bug in many ways. You're supposed to be able to, after you merge it, go through here and make changes. But no matter what I did, I couldn't get it to show back up, or it would show up incorrectly. And I did find an interesting workaround for this. So I'm going to start with maybe the solution and show some of the other pieces to this. And of course, there's a few of you watching. If you have any questions about anything as well, let me know. Now that I've merged this, we're going to try two things, see which one of them works. There's a couple ways to do this. I've got the final take. I'm going to record again with the loop engaged. And I'll stop it. And you'll see it'll make a new little take. And then I'm going to flatten and merge that one more time. And we'll turn on flex. Okay, so it's not showing up. Sometimes I've found adding another layer to that makes it work. The other thing we're going to do, though, and let me show you in our Logic Pro settings under recording, you have some options here for what you do with the audio. So for instance, I'm going to turn the cycle off, and you can see that I've got, with the cycle off, we can have it do a take folder, create a new track, or create a new track alternative. We're just going to leave it at the top one. But if you're not getting the same exact result when you're doing this, that could be something to look at. So now I'm just going to record. And we'll stop that. I'm going to do the same thing, flatten and merge, and just see what pops up now with that. Okay, so still having, this is the bug right here, is that we're not getting any of that data. If you look over, for instance, if I were to record something before this track, and I may actually have to do like a pitched note. Let me do that real quick. Just a simple note. Turn off the input monitoring. Let's zoom in on this. And I'm going to turn on flex pitch for it. Oh my gosh, it's not showing up any of them. So, this is the quandary. Now, earlier, this is why I prepared some of these tracks. I did the same thing right afterwards. And there's all the data for it. So, recording it without having that setting engaged. I'm a little surprised that this one didn't just show up right, but maybe something else is happening right now. And it could be restarting Logic would be a good solution at the same time. So, what happens with this, and sorry if that's loud, I think that's what you were just saying there. I'll have to listen to that. I've stopped recording into take folders for the moment because the take folders, if I want to use flex pitch, are so unreliably showing the data. Now that for me is a huge frustration, and it's like I don't know why I can't use one of the main features for recording things. I don't understand why it would be working in one place and not another place, etc. And so that, I know I was doing some just basic searches online for other people having the same thing. And these type of problems have gone back all the way to the beginning of this feature. I mean, this isn't a brand new thing. This isn't something that's all of a sudden just rearing its ugly head at this time. It's probably rearing it in this way right now with this version because I have never had this issue of late until upgrading to the new 10.7.5. But before that, I wasn't having the issue. So I certainly think that, we're having some issues with this. Another thing that could be happening right this moment, when I just recorded this one little file here, is because I'm going through the streaming software and have my driver set up differently. But I don't know. It's like the whole thing is just mind-boggling. So I'm curious a few things. One, if you're watching this, have you had similar issues with this at all? What have you done to make it work? What other things, should we be trying to see if we can make this happen? For the moment, instead of setting the cycle and just looping the vocal over and over, I might do that still for songwriting purposes. But then when I get to the final take, it's like I go into a blank track and I record it and then I stop it. I listen, see if it's working, make sure the flex pitch data is showing up. And then I just do a new track and record it to do takes and then comp them together more manually, which is super lame because that's not the whole point of this feature set. I tried a number of different things in this process. One of them was, and let me go back to A for a minute. So here's the original one that I was messing with. Let's do an export or unpack to independent tracks. So now I've got these two. And every once in a while, even so, if you're doing this with a track and you see that it's not there, sometimes you still have to go reselect the pitch data. You'll see it didn't change anything here. Without recording anything specific, let me try this one more time. Try not to make this loud. Is this your dream? Is this your dream? Is this your dream? What I see. So we got that. Let me just do a quick flatten and merge on this. And then let me turn on the flex pitch. Oh yeah, see there. There it's back. So this is the biggest lead I have for myself to see if I can get this to work. Even though this was a part of a take folder, I exported to independent tracks, re-recorded it into a new take folder by just adding a little bit at the beginning, merge that, and then all of a sudden I've got my pitch data back. And it's active pitch data. I mean, this is actually going to work. This is probably going to sound horrible since I was just messing with it, but here. So now let's double check that it's all working. Do some nice laser type. Here you are. Yeah, so that's all working fine at this point. Okay, so I'm glad I got it at least to work in one situation, because this is so frustrating that you have to do any of this stuff. I mean, this is not like, shouldn't be so complicated for this type of feature. Eric's asking, how long have I been sorting through this? Well, technically, just since 10.7.6 was the first time it really affected me. Because before that, I had been doing I have a very specific workflow when recording vocals. Because my production process is part of my songwriting process. And so I'll just record. Let me think if I have one of these takes in here. I might. No, that's a short one. Let's see. This is an example. This track right here. So songwriting ending up at take 23 being kind of the final version. And then I want to merge it and actually do pitch correction and stuff on it. And I don't want to have to re-record or go back and do it again. I want to be able to take the one that I land on and make that presentable. And so these are muted because they're the old version. And then I just rewrote and did it again with a whole different version. I wonder if probably here on take A or playlist A. Yeah, so this is verse 1 in the new format with 51 different things going into that one verse. And then I duplicate the playlist and go into a new one. So then I can always go back to the original. It's like I don't want to get rid of it, but I've had this happen too many times, so I always do duplicate playlists of everything. And then I come out with something at the end. Let's see. So this one. Here I am, trying hard to understand why we never met before. Imagine what we had in store. Here you are, half a world away from me, thinking of the things to say. Try to change our yesterdays. So Eric's asking, what's the song about? This is actually a song that started as a collaboration with a woman in France who is supposedly still going to be harmonizing and doing one of the verses. Amazing singer, but has had some issues with some of their equipment. So we'll see if it happens. It may be that this just ends up being a me song, but it's, one of the things that all songs are about, just relationship stuff. But I like the song. I really am digging it, but I had to redo the bridge because I had a version of the bridge I really liked, but it was rough. It was rough around the edges. It had some vocal issues, and I thought, you know what, I'll just be able to go in there and just tighten it down with Flex. I use Flex for three purposes: fixing the pitch. I move things left and right to fix the time, and then I do a pass at it like gain staging. So I am changing certain parts of syllables of words or whole phrases. I do the gain there as well. So it's like a triple threat tool for tightening down vocals. Even if I just get it to the point where then it's like I relearn the new thing and then re-record a fresh take that's a lot more polished. But I couldn't do any of those things because the Flex wasn't working. And so I think in the end, the bridge with the new vocals, which these are the two parts here, and then there's two additional things that pop up. Let's see. There's down here. This is a part that gets added in, and then there's this part, and then these two up here are actually part of the chorus that just get layered on top. All of these ones, now that I'm doing this video, I don't need... Ooh, that's not what I wanted to do. Let's do it from the top. So these ones are all the things that we're not using. So this is the way it goes. But these two are then one takes, and I turned off cycle. I didn't do take folders. I just did one take, and of course then all of the flex pitch just worked perfectly normal as expected. But I was able to just do one take of each one after practicing it and then tightening it down with the flex tools. Do you see when I see? Here you are, right where you belong, right where I belong, at the end of it all. Here we are, where we started from, where we ended up, on a shooting star. Now you know just how far in the light that's into outer space, to the end of time. And we'll never know if it was enough, but we'll always know. And then it just kind of goes back into one more chorus at the end. But those two, let's see, 1, 2, this part here, which is just like a little addition. Make sure I didn't just move that. Okay. And then the last one, this one is a distortion track that's layered in, I think. Just how far I'll go into outer space, to the end of time, and we'll never know. That high part, usually I would do something else, but because I was like freaking out about the take folders and stuff, that's actually me singing up high, which is, I'm thinking about still re-recording that part, just because it's like too high. But that was one of the video I was doing before where I discovered a lot of this. I was showing the varispeed benefits to this, where if you were record it low, like say I take varispeed down 10%, and then you record here, then you can put it back up to where you want it and it goes higher. You don't have to have the range. Do you see what I see? Here you are, right where you belong, right where I belong. So you can sing it down, and then when you pitch it back, it get essentially sped up and pitched up. You can always do just speed only and not pitch, but I run at speed and pitch. This comes from, the days when I was like a student. When I first was in school, we were learning on 2-inch tape machines. We didn't have Pro Tools was just barely born, and we were just starting to, but they were like, no, you don't get to learn the software. You have to learn this the old school way, the real way. And so, it's like working on a tape machine and you're like, I'm going to varispeed this up. I like, maybe you like the song, but you just want to give it that last little bit of something. What I see, do you see what I see? Here you are. And then you take it up 2%. Right where you belong, right where I belong, at the end of it all. Here we are, where we start. And so you get a little different feel to it. And if you're like, ooh, I like that, but let's go 4%. What I see, do you see what I see? Here you are, right where you. And you could export all of these. I mean, these are bounceable. So you bounce out a project at 0%, at 2%, at 4%, cut back up the sections. You can actually have the bridge be just slightly higher, faster overall. And you can come up with some really cool changes to things. So I think it's a really effective way. It's a really cool tool to have in your toolkit. Not something you use every day, but there's always that tool that you just need sometimes. And so I think that that's what that tool is all about. Sweet. Well, we're out of time and viewers. Eric, if you're still watching, thanks for commenting. And Logan as well. I didn't actually address your question at all. Logan's gone, it looks like. But Logan has had some problems with things that won't save or bounce. But Eric, thanks for being here. And I'll make this a video that's live. It went more successful. The last live stream, seriously crashed and burned because the whole flex thing just threw a wrench in my tire. But until, and I'll be testing this, but until they actually fix this, I can't use the take folder creation thing during my actual editing process. I need to actually do the songwriting stuff with the take folders and then re-record kind of the master vocal and then edit that one. So that's going to be my new workflow for now until that happens. Awesome. Thanks, Eric, for being a long-time sub as well. And if you ever have any video requests, or since you're the only one here right this minute, I think maybe there's a couple of you, but you're one of the only ones watching right this second. If you could have any video made, what would that video be? What video would you be looking for of new content? Tell me that, and then we're going to pull the plug on this stream. How to mix kicks and bass. Yeah, I'll do one. I mean, I've got an older one on the channel already. It's an indirect one. It's all about side chaining kick and bass. But I think I took it from the non-traditional point of view instead of side chaining the typical way. I did it backwards just because I thought, it's kind of cool to do it backwards. But definitely go check that one out. side chaining bass on my channel, but I'll do one because I'm really into this right now as well, learning how to make kicks and bass and keeping it punchy in mixes that have a lot going on. Because I do think that's the trick. That's the hard part. So yeah, I'll make one. Eric, you got it. Next video. Those of you who are just joining, thanks for joining. But we're ending. And have a great night and a great weekend. I might try to do another live stream this weekend instead of watching the Denver Broncos final game of one of the saddest football seasons in the history of the Denver Broncos. I might just boycott by doing a live stream instead. So have a great weekend. Hopefully see some of you around and more content coming soon. Peace.